Hare Krishna. Jai. Hare Krishna. You can definitely see that the devotees here are putting their heart and soul into the garland making. Each one is a unique creation. It's not ordinary. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Welcome to everyone who's come from various places around the universe. It's great to be gathered here together to hear a little bit of Bhagavatam this morning. Great to see you all. Hare Krishna. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 15th chapter, text number 27. And here are the word for word. Eshaha, this. Vai, indeed. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sakshat, directly. Pradhana, the chief cause of the material nature. Purusha, of all living entities of the Purusha avatar. Excuse me. Sorry, I said it wrong. Of all living entities or of the Purusha avatar. Lord Vishnu. Somebody now please give me a verse about the Purusha avatars. Where are the microphones? Are they readily available? Think to the Mangalacharana of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yasam sham sham sha paratma kilanam poshta vishnu bhati dugdabdi shai. Okay, give it to me from the beginning. Something about the Purusha avatars. Anyone? Just say what the part of the verse you know without looking it up first. Or what you know about it from anywhere. Even if it's not quoting the Sanskrit, just give me an idea about the Purusha avatars. Where are they mentioned? Okay. You got it there? Okay, Govinda, give him a mic. Would you give him a dead mic? We need tech help. There you
go. From Vishnu Puran.
Vishnu Purana.
Vishnostu trini rupani akhyatani ato viduhu ekahato mahatah shrashtah dutiyam andastansitam tritiya bhutastham tani gyatva vimuchyate. So Vishnu is of three forms. Says that one, ekata mahata srashtaha, one who actually creates through mahatattva. Dutiya andasansitam, second is situated in the Brahmand. Then tritiya bhutastham, sarvabhutastham, third one is situated in every living entity. By knowing them properly, one can be liberated.
Yes, it's a very important verse. It mentions that knowing these three is a prerequisite for becoming liberated. Who else has verses about the Purusha avatars, or would like to say something about them according to your knowledge of Shastra? Who are the Purusha avatars? Where do they come from? Somebody, who was about to say something else? You have your hands up? Yes, Kishore Sham.
Well, it's not much. I'm trying to go through the taxonomy in my mind right now, but Madhya is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya chapter 20, around verses 150 in the Discourse to Sanatana Goswami. We have the Tadekatma expansions of the avatars. We have Swayam avatars, and then the next category is Tadekatma. And then I can't quite remember the other one where the Shaktivesha avatars are, but under Tadikatma, I believe, is where Pradusha avatars are, if I'm not mistaken. But that's as far as my brain is.
Yes,
gone
and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, pass Shraddha the mic. Mahaprabhu goes into great detail about mentioning the various features of these avatars. Yes.
But in 1.2 Divinity and Divine Service,
Yes.
on verse number 23, if we can bring that up, it also
Okay.
explains how.
Just say it first.
How I'm just going to read it from here. Sattvam Rajastama iti Prakrite Gunaste Yukta Parapurusha Te Sthiti Ade Hari Pirinchi Hariti Sangya Shriyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattva Tanor Nirnam Suhu. And then the translation reads, the transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. And in the purport, Prabhupada is describing. Should I read the purport?
Yeah, you can read.
That Lord Sri Krishna, by his plenary parts, should be rendered devotional service, as explained above, is confirmed by this statement. Lord Sri Krishna and all his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva, or the Lordship of Godhead. From Sri Krishna, the next manifestation is Baldev. From Baldev is Sankarshan. From Sankarshan is Narayan. From Narayan, there is a second Sankarshan. And from this Sankarshan, the Vishnu Purusha Avtaras. The Vishnu, or the deity of the quality of goodness in the material world, is the Purush Avtara known as Shiro Daksai Vishnu or Vishnu or Paramatma.
Excellent. That's good. Right from our own home territory of divinity and divine service. You can find everything in divinity and divine service as far as the basic philosophy goes. Okay, what do you got over here? Are you ready for something? Why don't you grab first the Adi Lila or something? Yes, Shamalangi.
I just remember like the translation in the Adi Lila when we are glorifying Lord Nityananda, we say that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is a part of him, and from Garbhodakshaya is Vishnu's navel, the lotus springs up and Brahma is man created.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to squeeze out of the pundit circle over here. They seem to be holding back on us. Go ahead.
I think this is the same verse my mom was talking about. Sankarshana Karana Toyashayi.
Say name which verse it is so you can put it up for everybody. Go really slow, deliberately.
Verse 7.
Of the Adi Lila.
First chapter.
First chapter. Adi 1, 7.
Sankarshana Karana Toyashayi. Garbhodashayi Cha Payobdishayi. Sheshascha Yasyamsha Kalasa Nitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamastu. The translation says, may Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshana, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions.
Good. Good citation. There, the Purushavatars are being mentioned as being expansions of Baladev or Nityananda, because Nityananda and Baladev are the same, right? And then he explains how the Purushavatars extend from there. And Govinda Prabhu gave us a very important verse, which Prabhupada quotes in several places. Narada Pancharatra. So why don't you produce that verse for us so we can all have it in the forefront. Is it in a purport? So you can isolate it and we'll catch it somewhere. Give it to Shamalangi. She'll put it on a slide somewhere.
It's in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 7.4.
7.4. Let's take a look at it. May I have a Bhagavad Gita, please? What is Bhagavad Gita 7.4 before we turn to it? What is it describing? Bhagavad Gita 7.4. What does it say? No, what does the verse say? 7.4. Thank you. Bhumir apu analovayu kamano buddha evacha ahankara ityame bina prakriti ashtara. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. Purport. The science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and its diverse energies. So I have a question for you all. Are you ready? What does the science of God analyze? Use the microphone and speak slowly and deliberately, please.
The constitutional position of God.
The constitutional position.
And his diverse energies.
Okay, now say something about the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. Take help from others if you need to, but say something intelligible that's related to Shastra. What is the constitutional position of God, and what are some places that his diverse energies are described?
In the Ishopanishad, a verse in Tad Ejati, Tad Najati, Tad Dure, Tad Vantike, Tadantar Asya Sarvasya, Tadu Sarvasya Sibhayata.
Nice.
And this verse explains how the Lord walks and does not walk. He's everywhere, but he's also within as well. Or he's very near as well. He's far away, but very near as well. He's within everything and outside of everything. And there's one more.
What kind of essence does that describe, or what would you say? What category would you say that is a description? How is that describing God? That verse.
This describes God because these are his energies. He can be everywhere. And
what word would you use to describe that category of description? Yes.
Like the impersonal Brahman form.
I would say another word. I'm thinking of another word. How would you say God's far away, but he's very near as well? What does that mean? Yes. Yes, say it.
inconceivable.
Yes. So God's energies, it's indicating how inconceivable the energies of God are, that he can be far away, but very near as well, and within everything and yet outside of everything. So this is one of the descriptions of the constitutional position of God. It's important to know because often Prabhupada says that many people talk about God, but they don't know who he is or what his constitutional nature is, right? So it's important to know this in order to love God, because as Prabhupada says, you can't love the air. It's something that's amorphous, nondescript, and therefore there's no relationship with it. So the more that one understands God's nature and his constitutional position, then the more one can develop a relationship with him. What is that relationship building called? Say it.
Sambandha.
Sambandha, yes. So the knowledge that leads to our relationship is called Sambandha Jnana. Everyone say. Sambandha Jnana. So this is knowledge of our relationship. And when we know what God's position is, what my position is, and what my relationship, how I relate to him, then I can actually enter into the next stage, which is called... Somebody say, you say.
Abhideya.
What does that mean, Abhideya? You're correct. What does it mean? Can you give us an idea? After you get Sambandha Gyan, some knowledge of the relationship, then what happens? What's the next stage, Abhideya? Take help from anyone. Call a friend. Bhakti means? Say more. Bhakti means? Somebody tell me what bhakti means. What is the definition given by Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of bhakti? Okay, give it to somebody who's ready to say the verse all the way through. Okay, go ahead. You got it? Give her the mic. The mics seem to be far and few between here. Okay.
Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritim anukulyena krishnanu sheelanam bhakti ruttama.
Say something about the verse that will help us.
Devotional service is that which is devoid of material material motives.
What's an example of a material motive in worshiping God?
I need a car, or I need a
It's
home.
from Janis Joplin. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends. Okay, go ahead.
So that it should be devoid of jnana, karma. Jnana and karma. Jnana is like, I want to be the best a person who knows the Vedas, or truly the learned person, but not as a servant of God. So we should be devoid of, the service should be devoid of that too. Any activity that is devoid of these material desires is called bhakti.
Okay. What else can we say about it? Because Kishore Shyam said, this Abhideya means bhakti, but I wanted something more than that. It's something Radhika Raman Prabhu brought up several times when he mentioned how Prabhupada translated bhakti and how it relates to the verse that we're just listening to now. Anyabhilashita shunyam, that's the first part you described, should be devoid of material desires. Gyanan karmanyanavritam. Now, what's the next part? This is just getting to the point here. Okay, go ahead. Who wants to say on it? Anukulyena krishnanu. What does that mean? Shilanam.
Whatever is favorable to Krishna, except that do everything that is favorable in.
Now that's important. You use the word do, right? This is essential, because when we talk about bhakti, some people just say bhakti means just feel it. That's one aspect of it. There's two aspects to bhakti. One is the internal feeling. Cheshta Roop means that inside you're actually cultivating something. But have you ever met anybody? You'd say, do you chant? Are you chanting? And say, in my mind, in my heart, I'm always chanting. But externally, no chanting going on. So this verse, Anukulyena krishnanu shilanam. Shil, you said do. So shil means, it's a cultivation. Therefore, we don't just say devotion, we say
Devotional services.
Devotional service. And as Radhika Prabhu pointed out, this is Prabhupada's genius in unpacking all these phrases so that it lands in the right place and everyone understands what is actually devotional service. You're doing something. So did the 6 Goswamis do anything? And if so, prove it by Shastra. What did they do? And prove it by Shastra. Work with me, people. Microphones. Somebody mic up so the audience can hear. This is the live studio audience. The main audience is online, so cater to them. Sing it.
Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Parao Premamritambo Nidhi
Dira dira jana priyo priyakaro nirmatsaro pujito Shri Chaitanya kripa baro bhuvi bhuvo bharavahantarako So te rupa sanatano raguyago Shri jiva gopalako. So this is important, because we're following in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis, and most particularly of Rupa Goswami. Since we're following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami in our line of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, then what are we called? Rupa-anugas. What does that mean, Rupa-anuga? What does it mean? You can call a friend if you know, but friends don't have to dial in ahead of time and give her a chance.
Followers of Rupa Goswami.
Yeah, anuga means somebody who's following in the footsteps. Where else did you hear that phrase, following? From, let me give you a clue, it's in the Upadeshamrita. Where does it say in the Upadeshamrita that following in the footsteps of certain personalities will bring you to the perfection? Okay, go ahead. Whoever's saying it, just take the mic and say it. Be bold. If you have it over here, go ahead. Grab the mic. Take what's yours. Okay.
Krishnaiti yasya giri tamanasa driyeta.
Go ahead, finish it.
Shasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham shushrushaya bhajana vigyamananya manya nindadishunya ridamipsita sangalabdya.
Now back up. And
Krishneti yasya
actually,
giri.
we're thinking of another verse, aren't we?
Utsahan nischayat.
No.
Oh,
We're talking about following takes you to the perfectional stage. Tanamba rupa charitari sukirtananu smrityo kramen rasanan nasiniyoja tishtan vraje tan anuragi jananugami kalamna yed akilamiti padesh. What does anuragi mean there? So we're rupa anuga. Tishtam vraje tan anuragi. So we become attached, but it also means to follow. Anu means to follow in the footsteps. So we're talking about Rupa Anuga. We're attached, we're following in the footsteps, and Anuragi. Are you all Anuragis? Yes. If anybody asks you what you are, you just say, I'm an Anuragi. I'm following in the footsteps of who? Rupa Goswami. Yes, and who does he represent? And Tishtan Raje Tan Anuragi Chananugami, the residents of Vrindavan. You have to follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vraj in order to attain the perfection of our form of bhakti. Our form of bhakti is taking us to the platform of spontaneous love for Krishna, not to any other place. This is the ultimate goal, and we're following the footsteps of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. So now we heard from you what they do. What do they do? What are some of the things they're doing according to Srinivasacharya? We're following them, right?
He says they're always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing.
Dancing, you got to dance. Okay, what else?
They're popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they're all pleasing to everyone, and they're fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe.
Are you all engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the souls in the material universe? Say yes. Need a verbal yes. Okay, good. All right, so this is the process of following. And yes, Shraddha.
Raj, I was going to add after today's morning session that the Sad Goswamis also did the Sankhya Purvak Namagana Nativi. So they used to count what they were chanting.
Yes, they were always keeping track of how many of the chants they did, how many mantras they did, how many times they bowed down, so forth. It was very regulated practice. So this kind of regulated practice, following the footsteps of the Goswamis, will lead to this spontaneous practice of devotional service once the original taste that is awakened in our heart for that kind of practice.
Yeah. They also used to cry out in separation, He Radhe Vrajadevi ke chalalate.
Yes. So they lived in the Dham, and we also go to the Dham. And we go around and we visit the holy places and we roll in the dust just like the Goswamis. All these practices that we do are following in the footsteps. So if we can back up now, how do we get there? We're looking at the purport of 7.4, and in it we heard the science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. And we heard a little bit about that, right? Okay. The next says, material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his... material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnations, expansions, as described in the Sattvata Tantra. Vishnostu Trini Rupani Purushakyan Yato Vidu Ekam Tu Mahata Srashtra Dvitiyam Swanda Samstitam Trihiyam Sarvabhutastam Tani Gyatva Vimuchite. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates the total material energy known as the Mahatattva. The second, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, enters into all the universes to create diversities in each of them. The third, Kshirodakshai Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading supersoul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Give me a verse from the Brahma Samhita that says he's present also within the atoms. Go ahead, Govinda. Verse number? Hard to do that. Go ahead, just say the verse.
So I know the second. I remember the second. Andantarastha parmanu cha antarastham govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami.
And the first line, someone? Eko pyasaura chaditam jagadanda kotim yat shaktirasti jagadanda chayayadanta andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. This verse also proves that the Supreme Personality of Godhead enters within every particle, every atom of the universe, in the heart of the jiva. And he is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. How many here know these three Vishnus? Raise your hand. Put your hands up. Okay. So, Purusha, we're back at 7:15:27. Purusha. Everyone repeat. Purusha. Of all living entities, or of the Purusha avatars, Lord Vishnu. And now, if somebody stops you in the parking lot and says, who are the Purusha avatars? You'll be able to give them substantial information from the Sattvata Tantra, from the Adi Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and elsewhere, right? Say yes. Okay. We'll arrange to have somebody stop you in the parking lot and ask you. Ishvara, the Supreme Controller. Yoga Ishvarai, by great saintly persons. Yogis. Vimrigya Angri, Lord Krishna's lotus feet, which are sought. Sought by whom? Yeah, you should say sought by me. Raise your hand. Be counted here. Lokaha, people in general. Yam, him. Manyate, consider. Naram, a human being. And the translation is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the master of all other living entities and of the material nature. His lotus feet are sought and worshipped by great saintly persons like Vyasa. Nonetheless, there are fools who consider Lord Krishna an ordinary human being. Give me a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Go ahead.
Avajananti mamudo manushim tanum avyaya
Ashritam.
Ashrita.
Param bhavam
Param bhavam ajanato mam.
Mavyayam anutamam. Yes, and another one? How about Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavrita Mudo Yam Nabijananti Lokamam Ajamavyam. Where's that verse from? 7, yes, what? 7:23, put it up. So Krishna says, somebody who doesn't know my nature, my Supreme Personality of God, it is what? Muddha. What does that mean? What about vimudha? Really, really stupid. Okay. What do we have up there? I don't see anything. Where are we? 725. We're hitting pay dirt in the 7th chapter here today of the Bhagavad Gita. 7:25. I'll say, please repeat. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudho yam nabhichanati loko mamajam avyayam. The translation is, I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. And you quoted Avajananti Mamudha. Where's that from? 9:11. Uh-oh. Okay, let's look at 9:11. 9:11. Please repeat. Avajananti Mamudha Manushim Tanum Ashritam Paramphavam Ajananto Mabhabhuta Maheshwaram. The translation is, fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. So if you know Krishna and you know his transcendental nature, then you'll be liberated from the material world. And if you don't know him, or if you discount his appearance as being something ordinary, then what are you? Pretty much messed up. Krishna goes on to say in the 9th chapter, Mogasha Moga Karmano Moga Jnana Vichetasa Rakshasim Asarim Chaiva Prakriti Mohinim Shita. The people who have this atheistic point of view that Krishna is just an ordinary person. He says Mogasha. They're baffled in all their attempts in life. Mogasha, Moga Karmano. Their material activities are baffled. Do you know what baffled means? Confused, perplexed. I'm sure we'll get the etymology soon. What? Frustrated? Baffled means? Someone please help. What?
Bewildered.
Okay.
Totally bewildered or perplexed. And the origin is late 16th century in the sense of cheat or deceive, perhaps related to French bafouer, which means to ridicule or mock or deceive.
Yeah, so what is a way in which civilization in general, would you say, is baffled because of not putting Krishna in the center or not acknowledging God? Yes?
People who don't know that the center is Krishna, they're usually chasing after other things that don't give them peace or happiness or satisfaction.
Like what?
Like they travel the whole world, but still they don't get happiness.
I know, but these are very general statements you're making. They're all good, but I want specific images of bafflement. Yes.
Like, for example, if they get stressed at work or something, instead of educating themselves of who they are, why they are working, and what is the purpose of life, they just go into either movies or intoxications, and they just spoil everything.
That could be something. That's good. Shraddha's got something, I can tell.
So I was saying, like, how it happens at work, that they will tell you to work hard and then they promote you. And then so you think that life is going to be good at a higher level, but it is not.
It's not.
Yeah, it's
so
more difficult.
Similarly, I heard Prabhupada Govinda.
Matirna Krishna Parata Svatova Mitobhi Padyet Grahavratanam Adanta Gobi Vishatam Tamishram Punah Punah Charvita Charvitanam. So, even by their own endeavors or by collaborating with others, they cannot invest their consciousness in Lord Krishna. And because they are Grahavratanam, they are very engrossed in their daily worldly activities. And so, because of this, Adanta Gobhi, because their senses are not controlled, Vishatam Tamishram, they are slowly gliding towards hell, Tamishra, hell. And therefore, they are repeating Punaha Punaha Charvit Charvananam. They are repeating the chewed, they are chewing the chewed and coming back into this material world again and again.
Very good citation for Prahlad Maharaj to his atheistic father, but give me something specific. How are they chewing the chewed? Or what are some specific ways you see this happening in modern godless society?
So we all take birth, we get married, we get education, then we all die in the end.
Yeah, so Prabhupada pointed this out several times that man, woman have children, and then they advise them that you should do as we've done. Why are you joining the Hare Krishna movement and taking the spiritual life? Do follow my example. Meanwhile, their example has been that they worked very, very hard their whole life, felt frustrated, and didn't really get anywhere. But still you follow me. Why are you going off to follow God? That was basically Hiranyakashipu's idea, too. He wanted Prahlad to follow in his footsteps. Even though Prahlad later on said, I don't want any of this because even though my father, when he'd move his eyebrow, he could control all the devas. But it was all finished within a second. He said, therefore I know that from top to bottom in this material world, any accomplishment will be ruined eventually. It will be baffled. And so my activities will be baffled. Shraddha?
There's a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 14th chapter, verse number 1. And it says that those who take shelter of Krishna, for them difficult things become easy. And for those who don't take, then easy things become difficult.
Is it that if they remember Lord Chaitanya,
Yeah.
then difficult things become easy? If they forget Lord Chaitanya, then
easy things become difficult. And I was just thinking that along the lines of Hiranyakashipu, normally your children will follow you. So if he was a demon, it was very easy for his son also to be a demon. But such an easy thing became so difficult for him because he got a devotee as a son.
Yes. Good points. Yes, Avantika.
You were talking about chewing the chewed, and I thought of another example could be with intoxication. People try to run away from their problems by intoxicating themselves, and instead of understanding the purpose of life or praying to Krishna, they just continuously drink or they take drugs to escape, but the problem is still there.
Yes, and more specific, that's a good example. And very specifically about intoxication. When you intoxicate, then you have to take more and more in order to get the same effect. And the body develops a tolerance to it. So with alcohol, people drink, but then they have to drink more and more and more in order to get the same kind of euphoria. They had so-called euphoria. And then they become addicted to it, and they have to take it again and again, even when they don't want to. It's very difficult for them to give up. Yes?
I was just thinking about the time when we went to buy my last car, and the salesperson was paying 5 alimonies.
5 alimonies.
Alimonies, yeah.
That's a lot.
Punas charvata charvanana.
Especially in California.
Yeah. So 5 times he thought. But the good news is that when he said that you can take the car for a test drive, he would sit right next to us. So we said, okay, I bought it in Palo Alto. So we said, okay, we are going to the temple. So he came with us to the temple. He sat in a Bhakti Shastri class with Srivas Pandit Prabhu for a little while. He ate a lot of halwa outside. So hopefully the alimonies are still at 5.
Yes, I think he needs a little relief after 5 alimonies payments a day. Thank you very much, everyone, for those specific examples. Okay, now we're on the translation. Please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the master of all other living entities and of the material nature. His lotus feet are sought and worshipped by great saintly persons like Vyasa. Nonetheless, there are fools who consider Lord Krishna as an ordinary human being. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The example of Lord Krishna's being the Supreme Personality of Godhead is appropriate in regard to understanding the spiritual master. The spiritual master is called Sevaka Bhagavan, the servitor personality of Godhead, and Krishna is called Sevya Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is to be worshipped. The spiritual master is the worshipper God, whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the worshipable God. This is the difference between the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another point, Bhagavad Gita, which constitutes the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is presented by the spiritual master as it is, without deviation. Therefore, the absolute truth is present in the spiritual master. As clearly stated in text 26, Jnana Dipa Prade, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives real knowledge to the entire world, and the spiritual master, as the representative of the Supreme Godhead, carries the message throughout the world. Therefore, on the absolute platform, there is no difference between the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If someone considers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Lord Ramachandra, to be an ordinary human being, this does not mean that the Lord becomes an ordinary human being. Similarly, if the family members of the spiritual master, who is the bona fide representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, consider the spiritual master an ordinary human being, this does not mean that he becomes an ordinary human being. The spiritual master is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore one who is very serious about spiritual advancement must regard the spiritual master in this way. Even a slight deviation from this understanding can create disaster in the disciples' Vedic studies and austerities. And now we just have about 12 minutes left, and we'll take some questions. Weren't ready for that, were you? Questions can be either come spontaneously or be conjured in order to expand the conversation in a way that will be fruitful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
About the Purusha avatar. I'm curious if at a certain point the expansions of Krishna become avatars, or if they're just like, if like Prakasha expansion, say like maybe Chaturvya Vyuhas, for example, would they be considered avatars? Or is there a certain type of expansion of Krishna that is not avatar? Because it very specifically says in Madhya 20 around around like 250 or something, it says that the avatar is the appearance in the material world, even though transcendental only appears, but appears in the world. So I was wondering if other expansions of Krishna that don't necessarily appear in the material world would be considered avatar proper, or maybe just some sort of expansion. Sorry if that's...
Not at all. The way the avatars describes one who crosses down from a higher level to a level within the perception of those who are on a lower level. And for all intents and purposes, really all of Krishna's expansions at one time or another appear to the people on the lower plane of existence, that is the material world. Consider just from the top, Krishna himself appears directly, specifically to give everyone an idea about who he is and to defeat the atheistic idea that there is no form of God. And therefore he says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvata. If you know in truth how he appears in the material world, then you'll become liberated. You won't take birth again in this material world. Similarly, the Chaturvyuha describes how they descend in the material world. Ram Lila, the Chaturvyuha representative Ram, Lakshman, Shatrughna, and Bharat. There are the expansions of the Chaturvyuha in many other ways. They appear in the world. So practically all of the incarnations of the Lord appear at one time or another. They cross down from the higher plane to the lower. And therefore, that from that perspective, they can all be considered avatara. What other questions do you have? Yes. And then Radhakripa Prabhu is next.
Maharaj, I don't have a question. When we were reading the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse from Bhagavad Gita came to my mind, which kind of enlists Krishna's energies and his nature, which is Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhav samanvita, which is I'm the Lord of the universe and everything emanates from me, and knowing this, the wise full of devotion come to me.
Yeah, that's a really well-placed verse because it describes the effect, doesn't it? Did you look it up? Look it up. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. This verse describes what the effect on a person who understands completely that everything emanates from Krishna. Wouldn't it change your perspective a little bit if you understood that? I mean, all of you do understand that, but I'm just saying, if one understood that who didn't before, how would it change his or her perspective to know that everything emanates from Krishna? Aham sarvasya prabhava, everything emanates from me. Therefore, it would solve a lot of problems because you would see everything in relationship to Krishna, right? And so that verse practically describes the effect of Sambandha Gyan, doesn't it? Who is it who mentioned Sambandha Gyan and what it is originally? So tell us how this verse takes Sambandha Gyan into Abhideya. Give us some context. Sambandha moves to Abhideya and how it relates to the verse at hand.
So Sambandha is building the connection, or it is tying the knot with Krishna. And so in this verse it says...
That's appropriate for today, right?
Yes. And in this verse it says, the wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So it goes to Abhideya. It goes into the level of Abhideya when the devotees are performing devotional service and also they're worshiping Krishna in their hearts. So it further establishes that connection and develops.
Yes, very good. If you know that, if you're aware of the fact that everything's emanating from Krishna, then you worship him with all your heart. That's Sambandha into Abhideya, right? It's a really good verse. You did well. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, but Prahlad Maharaj actually mentioned, it seems pretty obvious. It actually makes a lot of sense that in the material opulence, whatever we have, it's whatever his dad had, it's he saw that even in a seconds it disappeared. But why that propensity in us is so difficult to believe and started acting on that one? Why is it that so difficult? Because we understand this makes sense. Yes, we shouldn't be. But why that propensity in us is so powerful that we, even after understanding, we cannot overcome so easily?
Because there's an agreement amongst all conditioned souls that we won't try to expose the illusion. This is what Devamrita Swami calls mass consensual trance. And if somebody tries to expose the reality of the material world, everyone's like, no, don't show me that. They become very upset about it, in fact. I try to cover it myself. But you're asking why. There's a kind of deep-rooted desire to enjoy separately from Krishna, And Prabhupada calls that a long-cherished desire to enjoy matter. And that becomes habitual, becomes second nature habit. And Mahaprabhu says, until somebody comes along and helps you to come out of that illusory state and coaches you how to move out of it gradually. And it's very difficult to come out. He says, Maya mugda jivara nahi swata Krishna gyan, jivara Krishna koila sarva Veda, I'm sorry, we'll start over. Maya mugda jivara nahi swata Krishna gyan, jivara Krishnaya koila Krishna Veda Puran. That's why the Srila Vyasadeva gave the Srimad Bhagavatam in order to give a lot of information and coaxing to the living entity so that he could come out of the position of trying to hold on to matter. It's irrational, actually. And Prabhupada describes that the reflection of the sun appears to be as bright as the sun. And therefore the material world is very convincing that it's a real thing. And therefore, all the admonitions within the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita are towards educate yourself, see that this is not the reality. But until you have a superior reality, until you understand there's a superior form of variety, that it's very difficult to give up the lower. This is one of the themes that is there throughout the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vishaya vinivartante nirahara sadehina rasavarja rasopyasya param drishva nivartate. Until you see it for yourself, you taste the higher thing, it's very difficult to give up the lower. And yene ravinnaksha vimuktamaninas tvayastabhavad avashudha budaya aruya krishena param tata patantyato nadarta yushmarangraya. Those who are imagining some sort of liberation will fall down from their position until they come to the point of actually connecting with the original Supreme Personality of Godhead in loving devotional service. So where does it say it's irrational? In the talk by Shukadeva Goswami in the second canto, he says, Deha patra kalatra deshu atmasaini susatsapi Tesham pramato nidhanam pashyanapi napashyati. He says that people have this unnatural attachment to those things that are temporary, and they think that they can be protected by them. The body is just a fly-by-night. It's a rent-a-car somebody gave us, handed it off for rent-a-car. Here's the keys. You can drive it for a while, but it's not going to last. But everyone thinks this body, if I just take the right supplements, if I follow the right, people sell so many supplements. And because everyone thinks if I just take that, they'll live forever. And Deha patra kalatrade, so they surround themselves with family members. They think they'll protect me, money, country, and so forth. But Shukadeva Goswami says, believe me, these are all fallible soldiers. Then he goes on to say, Pashyanapi na pashyati. Although people see it, they don't see it. Because they don't want to see it. Once we were in Harinam in New York City, we were going down this really crowded section of Brooklyn. And I noticed that some people, they'd hear the holy name and they'd immediately get joyful, just like Krishna says in the 11th chapter of the Gita. And other people, very few of them, but some people would show some disdain and say, why don't you, they just, the body language, like, why are you bothering people? And there are some people that didn't react at all. They were moving boxes, they're doing them, and we're right next to them going by, and they don't even respond at all. And I was witnessing this tendency in the living entity to completely ignore Krishna. Because living entities are smart. They know there's some kind of spiritual vibration coming down, but they've decided, some of them, that no matter what, I'm not going to look. I'm not even going to acknowledge it, that it's even there. So that's the disease of the living entity. And we can overcome that disease by good association. If we get association with Vaishnavas, there's some effect from the rays that come from their heart that make us question this dogged dedication to staying in the material world no matter what. It becomes a vow that no matter what happens Even if I'm killed millions of times by the process of time and death, I'm going to still hold on to it. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj is describing to his father, that people, even though they're being crushed by the wheel of time, they still hold on to it. So the devotees, Maya Mukta Jivananahi Svata Krishna Gyan, they can come and they can open our eyes to something higher and give us a higher taste. Speaking of which, I think it's time for prasadam. Am I correct about that? Or did I just almost cause a... So thank you very much. Govinda has a closing remark. Please.
There's still 1 minute left, I think, half minute. Maharaj, I had a question regarding, I'm kind of confused sometimes between Shakti Avish Avatar and Chan Avatar. Are they, I think Chan Avatar is a subcategory of one avatar, or is it a category?
Channa.
Chan, hidden.
Yeah.
Actually, Prabhu mentioned some other types of avatars. Covered avatar, Chan avatar, hidden incarnation. So maybe we can take it offline, yeah.
Itam nritiriga grishi jeva jashavatar, right? Look it up. Just get the 7th canto for 9th chapter. I don't want to take too long for this because we're actually out of time.
Yeah.
But we can research more in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which goes into much detail on these things. But the Channa avatar, really main Channa avatar that's referred to in our Sampradaya is Lord Chaitanya, because obviously, as presented by in his argument to here. Itam Nritiriya Gurijishi Jeva. Actually, I don't have to look it up. You know which verse it is, but we'll go into it further so I don't get in trouble by going over time. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Sharir Advidya Jodindriya Taheka Jibe Pele Vishayasha Gore Dharma Jedi Boyati Lobo Mursu Durmati Take Jeta Katitash He Krishna Bodha Doyamor Ribare Chifajar Shaprasha Nadi Loba Shayanamrita Pa Radha Krishna Gunaga Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Nita Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Sapa Punya Vatam Rajan Vishwaso Vijay Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanirasyo Pujayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhipaya Pratishta Tvayopa Bhukta Sakanda Vasalankara Charchitaha Utishta Bojino Dasya Tavamayam Jayemahi Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasadaki Gaur Premanande Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Am I allowed to say it? Is it actually time for prasadam now? Please come take prasadam. Hare